Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered if you're really capable of becoming the person you've always dreamed of? Maybe you've been working for months. Maybe you've failed more times than you can count. Maybe you've watched other people move ahead while your own life feels stuck. And little by little, a dangerous voice begins to grow inside your mind. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe success isn't meant for me. Maybe I've already missed my chance. But listen carefully. Those thoughts are not facts. They are simply stories. You've repeated so many times that you've started believing them. The greatest prison in the world isn't made of concrete. It is built from fear, brick by brick, excuse by excuse, day after day. Most people never discover their true potential because they surrender long before life ever asks them to. They don't lose because they're weak. They lose because they stop believing before the miracle begins. Understand this. Every extraordinary person you admire once stood exactly where you are today, confused, afraid, uncertain. They questioned themselves, they made mistakes, they experienced rejection. They failed repeatedly. The difference wasn't talent. The difference wasn't luck. The difference was a decision. A single decision to keep moving when everything inside them wanted to quit. Success isn't created in moments of comfort. Success is built on mornings when your alarm rings and every part of your body begs you to stay in bed. But you get up anyway. It's built on nights when nobody is watching, when there are no cameras, no applause, no recognition, only you and your commitment. Because discipline is doing what must be done, even when your emotions refuse to cooperate. Feelings are temporary. Purpose is permanent. Too many people spend their lives waiting to feel motivated. But motivation comes and goes like the weather. Discipline stays. Discipline carries you across days when motivation disappears. The people who change the world aren't always the most gifted. They're simply the most consistent. Look around. Every building you see, every company, every invention, every athlete, every leader started with one ordinary person making one extraordinary commitment to refuse excuses, to continue learning, to improve every single day. The truth is, life isn't asking you to become perfect. Life is asking you to become better than you were yesterday. One page, one workout, one conversation, one decision, one day at a time. That's how greatness is built. Not through giant leaps, but through thousands of small victories that nobody celebrates. There will be moments when people doubt you. Some will laugh, some will criticize, some will leave. Let them. Not everyone is supposed to understand a dream they didn't receive. Stop trying to convince people who have already decided to underestimate you. Instead, let your actions become your introduction. The strongest response to doubt isn't anger. It's progress. Quiet, relentless, consistent progress. Remember this. Every hour you waste comparing yourself to someone else is an hour stolen from becoming the person you're capable of being. Your journey is different. Your timeline is different. Your purpose is different. Don't rush because someone else reached the finish line first. A tree doesn't compete with another tree. It simply keeps growing. You have survived difficult days before. Days you thought would destroy you. Yet here you are, still breathing, still standing, still capable of creating an entirely different future. That means your story isn't over. Far from it. The chapter you're living today isn't your ending. It's your preparation. The pain you're carrying today may become the strength that inspires thousands tomorrow, but only if you refuse to quit. So stop asking whether you can do it. Ask yourself something more important. What happens if you never try? Imagine living 10 years from now. Knowing you surrendered because fear sounded louder than faith, that regret would hurt far more than temporary failure. Failure teaches, regret haunts. So choose courage, choose discipline, choose growth, choose yourself, because nobody is coming to rescue your dreams. Nobody can build your future for you. The responsibility and the opportunity belong to you. Starting today, not tomorrow, not next Monday, not next year. Today. Take the first step, then another, then another. One day you'll look back and realize the moment everything changed was the moment you finally decided to believe in yourself. There comes a moment in every person's life, a moment when you have only two choices. You either surrender to the life you've been given, or you build the life you know you deserve. Most people never reach their potential, not because they lack intelligence, not because they lack opportunity, but because they spend years negotiating with their own excuses. I'll start next week. I need more time. I'm waiting for the perfect moment. The truth, the perfect moment doesn't exist. It never has. It never will. Every successful person you admire began before they felt ready. They started while they were scared. They started while they doubted themselves. They started while people laughed at their dreams, because confidence isn't something you're born with. Confidence is earned. It is built through action. Every promise you keep to yourself, every early morning, every difficult workout, every extra hour spent learning, every time you choose discipline over comfort, you send your brain a powerful message. I can trust myself, and slowly, that trust becomes confidence, then confidence becomes belief, then belief becomes identity, and identity changes everything. Most people wait to feel motivated before taking action, but winners understand something different. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. Think about it. How many dreams have been destroyed because someone kept waiting for the perfect feeling? How many businesses never started? How many books were never written? How many lives remained average? Simply because fear was allowed to make the decisions. Fear has one mission: to convince you that staying where you are is safer than becoming who you're capable of becoming. But safety has never created greatness. Growth begins where comfort ends. Every challenge you avoid today returns tomorrow stronger than before. Every difficult conversation you postpone, every opportunity you ignore, every risk you refuse to take becomes another chain holding your future back. Break those chains, not tomorrow. Today. Understand something powerful. Your mind is always listening. The words you repeat every day become your reality. If you constantly tell yourself, "I'm unlucky," "I'm not talented," "I'm too late," your brain will search for evidence to prove those statements true. But imagine replacing those thoughts. "I learn quickly," "I grow stronger every day," "I can overcome this," "I refuse to quit." Now your mind begins searching for opportunities instead of obstacles. This is how transformation begins, not outside. Inside. Long before the world notices your success, your thinking changes, your habits change, your standards change, because your life can never rise higher than your mindset. People often ask, what's the secret to success? The answer isn't exciting. It's repetition, doing the right things, again and again and again. Long after the excitement disappears, success isn't built in one incredible day. It's built in thousands of ordinary days. The days nobody applauds, the mornings nobody sees, the sacrifices nobody understands. That's where champions are created. While everyone else is chasing comfort, they chase growth. While everyone else is making excuses, they make progress. While everyone else is watching successful people, they are becoming one. Never underestimate the power of consistency. One page a day becomes a library. One workout a day becomes a stronger body. One better decision every day becomes an extraordinary life. Small actions, repeated consistently, always defeat massive actions taken occasionally. Remember, the person you become is far more important than the results you achieve. Money can disappear, fame can disappear, opportunities can disappear, but discipline, character, wisdom, and resilience can never be taken away. Those qualities become your foundation, and with a strong foundation, you can rebuild your life as many times as necessary. Maybe today you're tired, maybe you've failed, maybe nobody believes in your dream. That's okay. You don't need everyone's belief. You only need your own. History has never been changed by people who followed the crowd. It has always been changed by people who believed before anyone else did. So stand up. Take another step. Even if it's slow, even if it's difficult, even if nobody notices, because every step forward is one step closer to becoming the person you were born to be. And one day, the same people who questioned your journey will ask how you did it. They'll call you lucky. They'll say you were gifted, but you'll smile because you'll remember the truth. It wasn't luck, it was discipline. It wasn't talent, it was consistency. It wasn't magic, it was the decision to never give up. There is something the world rarely tells you. The strongest people are not the ones who have never suffered. They are the ones who refuse to let suffering define them. Pain is one of life's greatest teachers, yet most people spend their entire lives trying to escape it. They run from rejection, they hide from failure, they avoid difficult conversations, they fear disappointment. But every time you run from pain, you also run from growth. Think about a blacksmith forging a sword. The steel is placed into an intense fire. Then it is struck again and again and again, not because the blacksmith hates the steel, but because he knows what it can become. Your struggles work the same way. Every setback, every heartbreak, every rejection, every sleepless night is shaping a stronger version of you. The question isn't, why is this happening to me? The better question is, what is this preparing me for? The moment you change that question, everything changes, because victims ask, why me? Leaders ask, what now? Every obstacle carries a lesson. Every failure carries wisdom. Every disappointment carries direction. Sometimes life closes one door, only because the path behind it was never meant for you. Trust the process, even when you cannot see the destination. Remember, a seed buried beneath the soil looks completely forgotten. It sits in darkness. It faces pressure. It experiences isolation. But underground, something incredible is happening. Roots are growing. Strength is developing. Life is preparing to rise. Maybe that's where you are today. Nobody notices your effort. Nobody applauds your discipline. Nobody sees your sacrifices. Keep growing anyway. The roots always come before the tree. Stop measuring your progress by applause. Measure it by who you're becoming. Because real success is invisible long before it becomes visible. The world celebrates the victory, but it never sees the years of preparation. One day people will admire your confidence. They won't see the nights you doubted yourself. They'll admire your success. They won't remember the failures that built it. They'll admire your discipline. They won't know how many mornings you forced yourself out of bed. That's okay. Your journey was never about proving people wrong. It was about proving yourself right. The greatest battle you will ever fight is not against your competitors. It is not against your circumstances. It is not against your past. It is against the voice inside your own mind, the voice that whispers, you can't, you'll fail, you're too late, you'll never be enough. That voice has defeated more dreams than poverty ever has. Silence it, not by arguing with it, but by taking action. Every action becomes evidence. Every promise you keep to yourself weakens doubt. Every disciplined habit strengthens belief. Confidence is not built through thinking, it is built through doing. Do the work, especially when you don't feel like it, because your feelings are temporary. Your future is permanent. Imagine if every difficult moment you've experienced was actually preparing you for a responsibility you haven't received yet. Would you still complain, or would you become grateful for the training? Champions don't curse the weight. They understand. The weight builds the muscle. Your challenges are building emotional muscle. Resilience, patience, wisdom, courage. These qualities cannot be bought. They can only be earned. Stop asking life to become easier. Ask yourself to become stronger. A stronger mindset can survive a harder life. Weak excuses cannot. Every sunrise gives you another opportunity, not to become perfect, but to become better. One decision, one habit, 1 hour, 1 page, 1 workout, 1 conversation. Never underestimate small improvements. Greatness is simply small improvements repeated consistently over time. One day, you'll wake up, look in the mirror, and barely recognize the person staring back. Not because your face changed, because your mindset changed, your standards changed, your habits changed, your identity changed, and that's the greatest transformation of all. Success isn't becoming someone else. Success is finally becoming the person you were always capable of being. So when life tests you again, smile, Because now you understand something most people never will. The fire wasn't sent to destroy you. The fire was sent to reveal your strength. The struggle wasn't your punishment, it was your preparation. The pain wasn't the end of your story, it was the beginning of your transformation. So stand up, take another step. Believe one more time, fight one more round, because your future is watching. And every decision you make today is writing the story you'll tell tomorrow. Never forget this. The world doesn't remember the people who had the easiest lives. It remembers the people who refused to quit. And your greatest chapter may be the one you're about to begin. Part 4. No one is coming to save you. There comes a day in every person's life when the excuses become too heavy to carry. You realize you've spent years waiting for the right opportunity, waiting for someone to believe in you, waiting for life to become easier, waiting for motivation to magically appear. But one morning, you wake up with a painful truth. No one is coming. No one is coming to build your dream. No one is coming to wake you up before sunrise. No one is coming to do the difficult work for you. And strangely, that realization isn't depressing. It's freeing, because the moment you stop waiting for someone else, you begin becoming the person you've been waiting for. Too many people hand over the steering wheel of their lives. They blame their past. They blame their circumstances. They blame their family. They blame the economy. They blame luck. And while they're busy searching for someone to blame, time quietly keeps moving. Days become months. Months become years. Dreams slowly turn into regrets. Ask yourself one question. If nothing changes, where will you be 5 years from now? The answer to that question should either inspire you or wake you up, because every habit you repeat today is building the person you'll become tomorrow. Your future isn't created by one giant decision. It's created by the small choices you make every single day. The decision to wake up instead of pressing snooze, the decision to study when others scroll endlessly, the decision to exercise when comfort calls your name, the decision to keep your word even when no one is watching. Character isn't built in public. It's built in private, behind closed doors, when there is no applause, when there are no cameras, when the only person who knows whether you kept your promise is you. Those moments define your future. People often think success changes a person. The truth is, success reveals the person you were becoming all along. If you build discipline before success, success becomes easier to handle. If you chase success without discipline, success rarely lasts. That is why your habits matter more than your goals. Goals give you direction. Habits carry you there. Every morning you choose discipline. You cast another vote for the person you want to become. And over time, those votes create a new identity. You no longer say, "I want to be confident." Instead, you become someone who acts with confidence. You no longer say, "I want to be disciplined." You become the kind of person who keeps going regardless of how you feel. Identity is powerful because once you believe, "This is who I am," your actions begin to match that belief. So choose your identity carefully. Don't define yourself by your failures. Define yourself by your commitment to rise after every failure. Don't define yourself by fear. Define yourself by courage. Not because you never feel afraid, but because you move forward anyway. Remember this, every successful person has moments of doubt. The difference is, they don't let doubt make their decisions. They acknowledge fear, then they take the next step. That's courage. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's action despite fear. Life will continue testing you. Some doors will close. Some people will walk away. Some plans will fail. Some seasons will be painful. But none of those things have the power to define your future, unless you give them that power. Every sunrise gives you another opportunity to begin again. Not because yesterday didn't matter, but because today still does. So stop carrying yesterday like a permanent identity. Learn from it. Thank it. Leave it behind. Your past may explain where you've been, but it does not decide where you're going. The pen is still in your hands. You are still writing your story. Write a story that your future self will be proud to read. One filled with courage, one filled with discipline, one filled with purpose, one filled with persistence. And when the world asks how you changed your life, you won't have one dramatic moment to point to. You'll simply remember thousands of quiet decisions, the mornings you refused to quit, the nights you kept working, the days you believed when nobody else did. That's how extraordinary lives are built. Not by waiting for rescue, but by becoming your own rescue. So stand up, take responsibility, own your choices, protect your dreams, keep your promises, and walk forward with confidence. Because the life you've been praying for will never be built by the person you used to be. It will be built by the person you decide to become. Starting today.